the Neil Gaiman situation only gets worse as more comes out, which is, kind of normal and par for the course on these kinds of things. The media tried to silence this, tried to stop any talk about Neil Gaiman's proclivities out there. Let's just be nice and say that. But too much has come out. Too many weird things have been said. Too many weird things have been said even by him for people to just be silenced. Now, I reported before that there was a standing comic industry stand-down order given to not talk about this. That's why it doesn't appear on Bleeding Cool. This is Bleeding Fool. It's a website that is a parody of them. And it doesn't appear on Comics Beat. And that's why you don't see a lot of mainstream pros talking about it. A couple have finally opened up and actually said something, which I'm going to report here. And this is even crazier from Avi Green, wonderful reporter, who says Neil Gaiman appearance was canceled now in the wake of sexual assault allegations. We're going to get into the news about what Neil Gaiman, and all this has gone over. I'll go over events again for those who have not heard about this because, again, there's a media silence on it. Very odd. In just a moment. My name's John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling science fiction author, and I have a great property for you. This is called The Hidden Emperor, and it's a story about Agent Ayla Rin of the Terran Imperium, who is, of course, trying to get the real emperor out of a bind where he's been kidnapped and replaced by a clone. Will the real emperor please stand up? It's a lot of fun. If you like old classic science fiction, good stuff like 2000 AD, Heavy Metal magazine from the 80s, you're going to absolutely enjoy this. Check it out in the description below. I appreciate you guys for supporting so far. This is our best effort to date. Over 200 backers in just a few days and 16,000 raised. Amazing. Thank you so much. And please, if you're new here, hit the like and subscribe button. We are all about changing the culture for the better here, and I would love for you to join our movement. All right. So Neil Gaiman's appearance has been canceled in the wake of sexual assault allegations. He's been dead silent. He quit Twitter, of course, with all the other wokeites out there who were flouncing last year, and moved over to Blue Sky, where it's a leftist echo chamber where pretty much nobody interacts anyway. And he hasn't posted since this interview came out from Tortoise, which talked about a couple of allegations of sexual assaults from women of him, one of whom was a fan of his, and one of whom was a babysitter/nanny who came over and felt she got abused by him. Now, it got weirder. We already did a video about all the details of it. You can find that on my channel here. But now he's canceling appearances. It appears like he just doesn't have an answer for what's going on. One of Neil Gaiman's public speaking appearances has been canceled according to the following information provided by a writer for Tortoise Media. First reported the sexual assault allegations he's facing. So his first scheduled appearance, which was supposed to be this weekend, $35 for a ticket. And if you're a young lady, you could maybe even go up to his hotel room for that $35. Oh, too soon? But he canceled this and did not appear here on Saturday. Looks like the reports have had some negative effect on Gaiman's career and reputation, though some may notice any coverage by the comic specialty press have been very muted. Last time I looked, comic-centric sources like Bleeding Cool, Newsarama, Comics Beat, Popverse haven't said anything at all. Bleeding Fool, CBR, Comic Book Movie, and of course Fandom Pulse, where I write, have reported on this extensively. Most peculiar that the believe all women liberal establishment comicdom has apparently chosen to ignore this potentially serious issue. Now, Neil Gaiman himself actually said back in the day, on a day like this, it's worth saying, I believe survivors. Men must not close our eyes and minds to what happens to women in this world. We must fight alongside them for them to be believed at the ballot box and with art and by listening, and change this world for the better. Well, I choose to listen to Neil Gaiman on this front and believe the victims here, because that's what Neil would want us to do, my friends. And so why would we contradict what Neil says here? Now, the comic industry, as I said, not just with the press, but the actual mainstream pros who are usually pretty vocal about this stuff, whenever they see anything about Donald Trump or whatever, they're flipping out, regardless of how small it is, on a daily basis. Very loud about it all the time. But when it comes to Neil, he's a rock star to them. They didn't want this. And like I said, I heard there was a stand down order in the comic industry because there's too much money on the line with Neil Gaiman's properties here to talk about this. He just has Netflix deals. Sandman is, of course, DC's like one of their best sellers that they reprint over and over again. They can't. He's too big to fail. He will cost the company a ton of money if this gets out there beyond the small audience, of course, here that pays attention to this stuff. That's why you got to share this, guys. This needs to be known. Nobody knows. And so they were silent for a long, long time. Only a couple people were brave enough to speak out on this, one of whom, Vita Ayala, one of the usual suspects here, who, of course, has her entire career based on race grifting and LGBT grifting. That's kind of what she does. I think she pretends to be a they now instead of a her, but whatever. She says grown-ass men predating on barely legal fans and or people they hold sway over is bad, always. I actually agree with her, forever. Don't matter if they made things you love. You got to reckon with the big feelings maybe, but this is facts. Yeah, pretty obvious here. Neil Gaiman being 62, having a 21-year-old babysitter over, and then asking her to join him in the tub, take a bath with him, which she was confused about at first, according to the statement, saying that she was thinking that he was just drawing a bath for her, and then he's like, no, for us. And then, according to her, she made him sign an NDA about the experience. She has many texts at the time feeling like she was being manipulated and all that. He was paying her rent. Very, very weird stuff going on. And yes, it's definitely a power imbalance, and almost seems like a prostitution situation. Very, very creepy. So I agree with Vita. Very true there. Alex Campi, famous for, of course, going off and being a person in Ed Piskor's suicide note that he named was personally responsible for that, said, also referring to Gaiman, I know of at least one very serious news outlet investigating it. It's not me, friends, but thank you. With a journalist who is known for handling abuse investigations as well. Anyone wants to talk to her or get her details, pass along, let me know. It's the same journalist who broke the story of abuse on The Ellen Show, if you're worried about her bona fides. I don't know why SJWs do this, but they like to not name people and be passive-aggressive, and at the same time be like, I know people. I know the people from who broke the Ellen DeGeneres Show abuse scandal. But it's like, you can just Google that and then look up this person. I mean, so why be coy about the name like this? But this is what they do. They try to make themselves seem self-important. And that's Alex DeCampi's entire game here, by the way. Alex wants to comment on this because Alex wants to be the forefront feminist in culture and actually and gain some major clout off of this within the comic book industry. It never works for her. She gets nominated for awards for her nonsense, but nobody ever actually hires her for any of the bigger books because why? She has zero talent whatsoever is what it comes down to. But she loves to throw herself in the middle of this, and so it's interesting. So she says, when you talk about whether someone can separate someone from their work, I know the someone they're talking about is a white man. So she immediately whines about separating from the work rather than actually talk about the actual problems here and what needs to be done to fix this kind of thing so that these gamma male predators don't mess with people. She just makes it about herself and the separating work from author sort of deal. Marginalized creators, including young women who are that man's victims, are never allowed to have their work considered apart from their marginalization. Oh, stunning and brave, Alex. Stunning and brave. I just want you to think about who gets to be bodiless, to have their work float in a neutral space untouched by actions or body of its creator. And then you mans out there taking lube, ooh, yuck, and consent tips from The Last Tango in Paris with his nanny, and people are like, oh, but Sandman. It shows how sick and desperate for heroes people are in this industry of just weirdos who have taken over. One of these days, I will learn to draft threads in Notes app first, but rather than just let go, today was obviously not that day. I stand by everything I said, although I am mad at myself about poor or vague word choice here and there. Who am I kidding? I'm never going to draft shit I put on social media. That transforms it into work. Even whining about her own post. within her own thread. These people are insufferable. Now, the people in the industry who have taken over are the problem. It's all weirdos. It's all sex pests. It's all creeps. It's all SJW wokeites, and it's the same ball and group of people. Really, is what it is. The Alex D. Campis of the world are a flip side of the Neil Gaimans of the world, and they control the industry. They blacklist normal people, and this is the main problem with comics as it all spirals and circles the drain. The editors let these people in. They brought in their friends. They brought in their friends' friends, and it just became a circle of even weirder and lamer people over time, and it's destroying everything. It really is. But Neil Gaiman's career looks like it's out the door at this point. I think there's been enough actually reported on this to where he's obviously scared of being in the public eye at this point now, and for good reason. Doesn't want to get asked questions. Can't have people asking questions. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out The Hidden Emperor on Kickstarter, guys. This is a great alternative to the woke media out there. I really have a great product for you, and I hope you'll check it out. Thanks so much for the tremendous support so far. It'll be in the description below. We'll be back soon.